Today we're taking a look at the Philadelphia 76ers vs Denver Nuggets match, which is happening on Tuesday, March 30th, 2021 at 9:05 p.m., and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. The Philadelphia 76ers travel to Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, for a Tuesday night matchup versus the Denver Nuggets beginning at 9 p.m. Estate. Currently, the Nuggets are favored by 4.5 points, up from 4 at the opening, while the total stands at 221 points, down from 222. The 76ers halted a 4-game winning streak after falling to the Los Angeles Clippers Saturday night to begin a 3-game road trip. Philadelphia shot over 50% from the floor while hitting 10 treys, with Danny Green accounting for the half, while Tobias Harris led the way with 29 points, 7 boards, along with 6 dimes. However, their lack of defense was the difference maker, giving up over 50% shooting to the Clippers, with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George finishing with 28 and 24 points, respectively. Joel Embiid failed to suit up for the 8th straight game and is expected to return early next month. And while the 76ers failed to cover as 5.5-point dogs, the team is 4-1-1 ATS in their last 6 games. On January 9th, when Denver won 115-103 as a 13.5-point road favorite, the 76ers did not have Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid available in that first matchup. If the season ended today, Philadelphia would be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with a 32-14 record. Denver is 28-18 on the season, which places them 5th overall in the Western Conference. Both of these squads come in red hot, with the 76ers holding a 10-2 record in March, and the Nuggets are right behind with a 10-3 mark during the month. The Nuggets won their 2nd straight after dominating a solid Atlanta Hawks team Sunday night, as they were able to recover from a lackluster defensive effort after the opening period to outscore the road team 95-67 the remainder of the way to post their 28th win of the season. The offense was on fire, nailing 15 three-pointers while making 54% of their shots, as each of the starters posted double digits, with Nikola Jokic along with Michael Porter Jr. each had double-doubles. Important to note that newly acquired guard Aaron Gordon went 6-9 from the floor for 13 points in his first game with the team. Denver covered the number for the 2nd straight game as 5-point favorites and are 3-1 ATS in their last 4 outings. Each of these teams has picked up outright wins in 5 of their last 10 meetings. However, Denver is 3-2 SU in their last 5 at Ball Arena. The 76ers are 7-1 ATS in their last 10 versus Denver, while covering in 4 of their last 5 roadies versus the Nuggets. Philadelphia is now 32-14, still atop the Eastern Conference standings even without Embiid, who has now missed 15 games already, almost 1/3 of the season so far. But he's not the only one on the 76ers. Ben Simmons missed 8 games, Seth Curry missed almost a month, and the team had a long COVID-19 stretch that wrecked its rotations. It's pretty impressive to lead the Eastern Conference after all that. Philadelphia entered the week 6th in net rating, per Basketball Reference. And as much as Embiid is known for his outstanding defense, Philly has been doing it on defense, even without its big man. The Sixers rank 2nd in the NBA in defensive efficiency for the season, and they're number 1 over the past 15 games, per Kirk Goldsberry. The Sixers are a good rebounding team. That counts as defense too, since rebounds and possessions, and they have an excellent defensive shot profile. Philadelphia forces opponents into taking difficult shots with its length and defensive energy, and it ranks 2nd in the NBA in 2-point percentage allowed. The defensive and rebounding margins have, for the most part, held up even without Embiid. The offense, however, has not. Per Pivot Analysis, Philadelphia's offensive rating drops over 12 points per 100 possessions with Embiid off the court. Philly's free throw rate is cut nearly in half without Embiid drawing myriad fouls all game long. The Sixers also see their 2-point percentage drop from 56% to barely above 50%, and even the 3-point percent drops off significantly. As good as Simmons has been on defense, he's averaging 5.0 turnovers per game over these past couple weeks without Embiid, and at 15.0 points per game, he's not been able to make up any of the scoring margin. Tobias Harris has been terrific over the past 10 games, putting up 23.0 points, 7.6 rebounds and 4.7 assists per game on blazing 53/44/92 shooting. He's been more of a playmaker with Embiid out and looks like the all-star he proclaims himself to be, but Philly just doesn't have enough other offense right now. Philadelphia started 0-4 without Embiid, both straight up and against the spread, ATS. The Sixers have won 8 of their last 11 without Embiid since. They're also 8-3 ATS during that span and appear to have found something that works without Embiid, namely tough defense and just enough scoring to get by. The Sixers had held opponents to around 101 points per game during this stretch until a double-digit loss to the Clippers on Saturday night in which LA scored 122. 6 straight Philly games had gone under until that one went over. It's defense or nothing for the Sixers with Embiid out. Coming off of last season's trip to the Western Conference Finals, the expectations in Denver are still very high. The Nuggets have been playing well lately and won for the 11th time out of their last 14 games on Sunday with a 126-102 home win as a 5-point favorite against the Atlanta Hawks. The Nuggets had a balanced scoring effort in the win, with Jamishal Green leading the team with 20 points off the bench. Jamal Murray added 17 points, Nikola Jokic had 16 points and 10 rebounds, and Michael Porter Jr. added 15 points and 10 rebounds. By the way, that 7-footer is hitting 43% of his three-pointers this season and more than 60% of his two-pointers in one of the best offensive seasons by any big man, maybe ever. This Denver offense was already really starting to hum, even before Gordon showed up. Michael Porter Jr. has really found his footing lately, giving the Nuggets the big three they envisioned all year with him, Jokic and Jamal Murray. Gordon only makes them more lethal. He's a screen and vertical threat this team hasn't had, and he's also a nice secondary playmaker who keeps the ball moving, which is key in this offense. The defense has work to do, of course. The Nuggets rank 20th in defensive efficiency, per Basketball Reference. Gordon can't fix everything, and he certainly won't fix it overnight. This version of the Nuggets is never going to be a great defensive team, but the hope is Gordon helps them be average enough to let the offense win in the playoffs. Denver has now won 6 of its last 8 and 11 of its last 14 games. While others in the West are faltering a bit, it feels like the Nuggets are just now starting to hit their stride as the season hits the home stretch. The Denver Nuggets have been in fine form as they've won 11 of their past 14 games, and they will be looking for a third straight victory after taking apart the Hawks in a 126-102 home win on Sunday. Michael Green led the team in scoring with 20 points in just 14 minutes off the bench. Jamal Murray scored 17 points, Nikola Jokic racked up 16 points with 10 rebounds and 8 assists, while Aaron Gordon chipped in with 13 points. As a team, the Nuggets shot 54% from the field and 15 of 36 from the three-point line as they took control of the game with 34 points in the second quarter to take a 10-point lead into halftime, before running away with it in the second half where they poured in 61 points. So here are my betting suggestions for that game. Philadelphia 76ers have had to play against a team currently in playoff contention. Although the 76ers did open up the road stand with wins over the Knicks, Warriors, and Lakers, they did lose their last game by 10 points to the Los Angeles Clippers. Without Joel Embiid, the Nuggets will pose just as big of a threat that the Clippers did to the 76ers. As good as Philadelphia has been lately without Embiid, I wonder if there's just a little bit of fool's gold here. Has Philadelphia really figured things out, or did it just happen to hit an easy stretch of schedule? Look at this recent stretch without Embiid. Philly has won against the Bulls, Spurs, Knicks twice, Kings, Warriors, and Lakers, with the latter two teams missing superstars. The last 3 losses, on the other hand, have come against the Jazz, Bucks, and Clippers. Philly has beat the bad and mediocre teams without Embiid but lost to the 3 definitely good teams it's faced, twice by double digits. Every win counts the same, and credit should go to the Sixers for taking care of business against the teams they're supposed to beat, but there's little question which group the Nuggets belong in right now. The Sixers can't win a track meet with the Nuggets right now, and as good as Philly's defense has been, this doesn't feel like the right matchup. This is a game where they'll really miss Embiid, asking Dwight Howard, Mike Scott, and Paul Reed to match up against Jokic is a fool's errand. So far this season without Embiid, the Sixers have typically either grinded out wins and covered or lost and failed to cover. This feels like the latter. Philly's offense doesn't have that extra gear to keep up with Denver's attack, and the Sixers' D can only do so much. I think the Nuggets win relatively comfortably. Embiid's absence is too much of a difference maker in this matchup. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Denver minus 4.5. The Denver Nuggets look for a win after winning 11 of their last 14 games. The Denver Nuggets are averaging 115.8 points on 48.8% shooting and allowing 110.7 points on 47% shooting. Nikola Jokic is averaging 26.9 points and 11.1 rebounds, while Jamal Murray is averaging 21 points and 4.9 assists. Michael Porter Jr. is the third double-digit scorer, and Aaron Gordon is grabbing 2 rebounds. The Denver Nuggets are shooting 38.7% from beyond the arc and 78.4% from the free throw line. The Denver Nuggets are allowing 36.5% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44 rebounds per game. The 76ers are 16-35-3 ATS in their last 54 road games and 9-2-1 ATS in their last 12 games overall. The Nuggets are 8-2 ATS in their last 10 games playing on 1 day's rest and 2-5 ATS in their last 7 games following a straight-up win. The under is 5-2 in 76ers' last 7 overall. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under 221. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe.